This video is an overview of the Capability Explorer add-in. The purpose of this add-in is to provide a single report for evaluating process capability. It does this by running several JMP platforms and then combining those results into a common 6-graph summary. In this first example, individual measurements are evaluated, so we have individual and moving range control charts with a zoomed-in view of the most recent 25 observations. There is a histogram with overlaid spec limits and the fitted normal distributions using both the within and overall sigma values, and a normal probability plot and goodness of fit tests indicate if the normal distribution is an appropriate distribution for using in this data set. And finally, there's a summary of the capability indices along with nonconformance for both the observed and expected out of spec in either ppm, parts per million, or percentage. All of these reports are dynamically linked to each other as well as with the data table, and you can adjust the number of rows that you see in the recent observations by moving the slider and scanning throughout all of the observations. The red triangles at the top provide some simple graph customizations to highlight the out-of-spec observations, either by just selecting them and seeing where they are in the data table, or by specifying a color. You can also highlight the spec limit lines in the control chart and recent observation graph. The red triangle also lets you launch other JMP platforms within the Capability Explorer add-in. For instance, if you wanted to dive deeper into the capability analysis, you could launch that and it will show up as a tab in here, and you could go through all the additional customizations for this report. Red triangle finally has a few ways to export, either just copying it directly to the clipboard for pasting into other documents, creating an interactive HTML, launching a data filter to filter the data table, or saving this script to the data table like other JMP reports. So we can save this script to the data table, close the report, and if we wanted to run this analysis again, we can click the green triangle to regenerate the report with the tabs that we had launched previously. So let's show how we can launch this add-in. So to launch this, we go to the add-in menu, go to Capability Explorer, and in this case, let's clear those out. In this case, maybe we want to look at the purity process variable. So we specify the variable that we want to analyze, and there's an optional subgroup. And in this example, we can use either a subgroup column if we had one, or specify a subgroup size. We'll specify a subgroup size of 5 and click OK. And now that we've specified a subgroup, instead of the individual statistics, we get an X bar chart and an R chart. If you prefer, you can change the R chart to an S chart so that you're looking at the standard deviation within the subgroups. And the recent plot down at the bottom, instead of showing the individual observations, now shows box plots. If you want to see the individual points, you can toggle that on or off, as well as the box plots, and use the slider to scan throughout all of the subgroups in this data set. In this case, we can see that a normal distribution might not be the most appropriate distribution to use, and so you can go to the red triangle and maybe dig in deeper using the fit distribution platform and find a more appropriate distribution to use.